Late into this week, Turkish forces continued their advance into northeastern Syria as Turkish President Erdogan said as of Thursday his country's air and ground offensive had killed more than 100 people since the operation began. Now, news of that has resonated halfway around the world. Here, San Diego has one of the largest Kurdish populations in the country, and many of the neighbors are filled with fear and anger and frustrations over what's happening abroad. And with me now is Kurdish-American activist Shireen Zada, also NBC7's Danny Freeman. Danny, you've been covering this issue this week. I just want to get a sense, Danny, real quick, so our viewers have an idea as what's going on here. The Kurdish people, they're American allies. They fought with American forces in northern Syria, which butts up against Turkey. Specifically to eradicate ISIS, and many times at great loss of their own. What are the figures here?
That's absolutely correct. You know, this has been, the Americans came to the Kurds to say, hey, will you help us defeat and battle ISIS? And as I understand from speaking to Shireen and her family, it's been a partnership that was strong and forged well, and these U.S. soldiers were fighting alongside Kurds in this battle to, again, eradicate ISIS. And about 11,000 Kurds basically put their lives on the line in this battle over the course of the past few years.
Yeah. And Shireen, like we mentioned earlier, I mean, San Diego has one of the largest Kurdish populations in the States. Your father was born in Syria.
Yes.
What are you hearing amongst your friends and your loved ones that still very much have ties to this region?
Right. The general reaction of the Kurdish community in San Diego and greater in America is we're asking ourselves this question: how many innocent Kurds need to be murdered or killed by Turkish airstrikes for the U.S. government, for Trump to say this is inhumane? We've crossed a line, and we're going to send back our troops. Is there a certain number that Trump has in his mind that will shift this U.S. policy that has taken one of our fiercest allies, that has stealthily, bravely, and competently defeated one of the world's fiercest terrorist groups that we've ever seen in the 21st century? And this question needs to not just be asked by our community, but by the greater American community and the world.
Now, you know specifically of folks that have lost loved ones since these air and ground strikes have begun.
Yes, last night, unfortunately, received notice that one of our community members who's lived in San Diego for over a decade just lost two of his cousins to Turkish airstrikes. One, Mohammed, 12 years old, Gula was 7. Mohammed lost his life, Gula lost her leg. It had to be amputated due to the injuries she sustained from the airstrikes. And this is only within the 2 days that these airstrikes have started, and we can't even think about the extent of the human damage that will occur as this war progresses.
I mean, I can tell this is something that I mean, you can see the emotion in your eyes right now. What's happening stateside here about this? You've done some organizing, yes?
Right. So it's twofold. One, we're exercising our greatest American right, which is our freedom of speech. Right. We're taking to the street, demonstrating, trying to convey our outrage, our disappointment at the complete betrayal of our fiercest ally. And for example, today at 4:30 p.m., we're going to be demonstrating outside the federal building. And on Sunday, we're organizing a much larger rally outside the Turkish consulate to demonstrate our outrage at what's happening. And so that's one, that's the demonstrations we're doing. And then we're also working on politically mobilizing the Kurdish community. And we're already reached out to several of our congressional representatives in San Diego and Southern California to arrange meetings with them. And a lot of them have been more than eager to meet with us, and they've expressed their sadness and their disappointment over the recent shift of Trump's policy.
Yeah. Danny, I want to bring you back in here for a sec. I mean, what you're seeing here in San Diego, in your reporting, have you seen this kind of organizing and mobilization elsewhere in the country?
Yeah, I mean, and I think Shireen has been noting that as we've been speaking about this as well, that, as soon as this happened, the Kurdish community, many Syrians as well who have been refugees and are in the United States, have all been galvanized and mobilized. And we're seeing movements not only here in San Diego, of course, with the work that they've been doing, but also in Los Angeles. This is something that is large spread. In fact, So you said San Diego is one of the larger Kurdish populations. The others are Dallas and Nashville. And in Nashville in particular, almost immediately, that Kurdish community started to make their voices heard. And that's what we're seeing so far since, I mean, it's been just since Sunday that the president reversed this position. It's been quick and fast and big.
Well, this is definitely something that we're going to continue to pay attention to. I thank you both for your time and joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back.